So unfortunately, due to work obligations, I haven't been able to do some videos in the past couple days, and I unfortunately missed one of the greatest news stories in the history of my lifetime. And that is Donald Trump standing, that photo of him standing in front of all these burgers he's about to feed to the Clemson team with this picture of Abraham Lincoln behind him. Absolutely fantastic. Everything about that is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Until you started to see the Washington Post fact checkers come out and start fact checking Donald Trump's claims about these burgers. Now, the point of this video, yes, it's hilarious that Trump did this. It's hilarious that he thinks that somehow this makes him a great person. But there's two things I want to talk about in this video. The first is just how worthless these fact checkers are. And second is to talk about the elitism of people like the Washington Post and these fact checkers and the Democrats in the media that had a problem with this. Now, the first is to talk about the fact checkers. I can't tell you how many days you see on Facebook or just discussions on other websites, people saying things like, oh, Donald Trump lies 30-something times a day. He lies more than any human being ever. All of his lies, blah, blah, blah. And I constantly say, there are different types of lies. There are these kind of annoying lies that are just you bragging. Like, here's an example of the lies that Donald Trump, a lot of the lies his are, where you'll be like, yeah, I caught this 15-inch bass the other day. It was pretty nice. And then someone's like, actually, it was like 13 inches. That's the type of lie. Like, yes, that's a lie. There is a lot of truth in what you're saying. You're just exaggerating. So when Trump's talking about crowd size, or when Trump's saying, I'm the greatest president ever, and when Trump's saying like things like that, yeah, it's braggadocious, it's annoying, and it's fair to be called out. But that's not lies like big lies like, if you like your doctor, you could keep it. Or, no, the NSA isn't spying on its own people. Those are lies that really impact us, that are actually complete lies to be self-serving and to keep people out of trouble. Those aren't the majority of the lies we see from Trump. Now, that isn't to say that he wouldn't tell lies like that. But what I'm saying is I hate this reliance on fact checkers. I did a video on the idea of the fact checkers checking Trump's wall speech and how ridiculous and absurd they were. That's constantly what happens. People just appeal to them as some sort of authority. Well, Snopes said it. They're a fact checker, so it has to be true. It doesn't matter that I could go through Snopes' fact check over and over and over again and be like, they're wrong here, they're wrong here, they're wrong here. People still, by the very nature that they call themselves fact checkers, assume that without looking into each individual fact check, you could just take their word for it, Snopes is right. It's the same with Washington Post fact checkers or other places. And so today we see the best example of that, where the Washington Post just wanted to inform us when Trump said he had a mile of burgers, that actually the burgers were piled a mile high. The burgers are only 2 inches, and so if you stacked 1,000 burgers up on top of each other, it still wouldn't reach a mile. This just shows, and they did this seriously. This wasn't like tongue-in-cheek. That shows you the exact type of lies that the Washington Post and these other fact checkers are saying. Oh, Trump, he lies so much. Well, he said there was a mile high of burgers, and actually that wasn't true. Yeah, we know. It's a figure of speech. Thank God he didn't say there were a ton of burgers there, right? Can you imagine having to get out the weights and measures to find out exactly how much these burgers weighed? That's what supposedly, and remember, the Washington Post and all these Democratic and establishment media, mainstream media outlets will tell you how they're important to the survival of this country. They're the last bastion of truth. This is the type of stuff they're fact-checking. The same group, and again, I don't even mind them coming tough after Trump and doing tough things. This burgers thing's ridiculous. That's fine. That's what the media should be doing. Conveniently, they were kind of gone for 8 years, though, under Obama. Didn't have much to say about him, did they? And so it just goes to show, it's another example of how ridiculously absurd these fact checkers are. But I'm sure next week I'll see people saying, oh, the Washington Post fact checked Trump's stance on this, so it must be true. And I'll say, did you even read their source? Did you read what they meant? Or is this another, the burgers weren't a mile high type fact check? The other thing that's worth talking about is you saw all these people come out. They couldn't believe Trump would serve burgers. And like it was somehow this, to national football championships, that's unreal. How low class, how terrible. Yeah, it just goes to show you the elitism of Washington, D.C. and these cultural institutions that are complaining, like Hollywood or, all these politicians in D.C. or the mainstream media. Of course, they wouldn't know what it's like to eat a burger. I don't know if you could tell from images of me in my videos, but I like myself a burger. I've eaten at McDonald's quite frequently. I probably have fast food at least once a week. It's probably something I should cut back on. But the idea that this is somehow like for a pauper and it's not for the White House is absolutely ridiculous. It just goes to show this contempt and this elitism that they don't like what regular Americans do. That's not good enough. There should have been caviar and lobster and crab there. It's ridiculous. And I don't care. I've heard conflicting reports about well, what did Clemson's football team say about it? I really don't care. They were given a free meal. They got to go to the White House. I don't think that anyone should be upset they didn't have lobster or things like this. But this is this constant strain of elitism. It's the same attitude you see. It's always the rules have to be different for you. They look at themselves as a different class of people. They live in gated communities. They have the finer things in life. And they look down on you if you're the type of person that wants to eat a McDonald's cheeseburger. So just remember that. Those are the people. Those are the people calling you 10-tooth racist. Those are the people saying you're a racist if you want the wall. That's who these people are. They think you're a scumbag for eating McDonald's cheeseburger as well. They think that's low class. And this is one of the things Trump does well. Again, I think a lot of Trump supporters give him too much credit, like he's playing 4D chess. I think he really just knows how to connect to the average person despite being a billionaire, because he's the only person who's tried and at least running for president in a long time, though Ron Paul maybe would have. But anyways, you see what I'm saying. And despite being a trillionaire, the average person's like, at least I could relate to this guy. I kind of see what's going on. And that is one of the reasons that mainstream Washington despises him. Because they are an elitist class. The area surrounding Washington, D.C., one of the wealthiest in the country. They're insulated. They don't care about you. They don't care about the average person. They view you with contempt. They think that you're filthy. You eat garbage food. You're terrible people because you don't agree with them that they should have all the power and tell you how to control your life. So that's what this story showed to me. And it also showed that picture of Trump standing in front of that big pile of burgers with Lincoln in the background. It was absolutely hilarious. So, hey, if you like this, why not hit the subscribe button? You see my little round face down there in the corner at the end of this video. Click it to subscribe, like my video. And yeah, I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow at noon. Videos coming up daily. So, all right, have a good one.